Okay, so this is what she submitted. And I understand she's changed her research question because this was too broad, she found. We had a talk last week. How does the shift towards regional trade blocs influence multinational enterprises to adapt observable marketing practices such as product adaptation, brand positioning, and alliance configurations at the block level? And what is the impact of these adaptations? So I suggested that is too broad, that she needs to narrow which trade blocks, um, just because it's not specific enough. How are you going to study that? So at least that was her starting question. And then she said she's going to modify that. Um, so these are her papers. And so good journals. Let's look at the scoring of the journal. So they are all in ABDC. Let's look at her search strategy. So she did different ones. She made different ones. Um, so it's important to know that if you're going to do something like a systematic review requires that you do things in stages, and usually you start like you develop your search strategy and then you use it and report how many articles you got with that search strategy. You don't just pick from different search strategies like she did here. But it's okay that she did that. I mean, still trying to learn what you're doing, what you plan to do, but try and establish one single search strategy. And I don't expect you to do a systematic literature review, but in the spirit of being systematic, one large search strategy, and then keep a record of um, which articles you keep. So she has several here, and maybe she needs to decide which one is the ideal one. She can combine them into a single one. I Yeah, not many search strategies because anyway, like I said, these will help you develop just a single search strategy in the end. Okay, so she itemized key ones. So they were not all key. She found that they were seminal or key articles: regional expansion of emerging market, the roles of domestic market and environmental uncertainty, and international alliance partner diversity. Okay. Um, so there's like some partnership there, but I think overall she had trouble with the trade block. That was one of her key words, but I think it's going to help if she includes which trade blocks she's going to study. We talked about some alternatives. So let's see what else I can look at. Let me do something here. If you guys are browsing with me, I'm going to freeze the headings. I'm going to freeze the headings with freeze. Okay, so okay, so she picked and she explained why she picked articles. She hasn't excluded anything yet, but the idea is to, in your next run, when you make your proposals, you're going to send this document again with a new tab for the proposal. Okay, you're going to start a new tab and just put the articles that you included on your in your proposal as the articles that are going to go into your paper and the ones that you're going to mention in the proposal, key articles. So these are the years. Exporters from France. Okay. Okay, so then she has the regressions mentioned here. I don't expect you guys to be an expert in regression analysis, but this is giving you an opportunity to see the vast array of different methodologies for regression. In this course, I expect you to, for the paper, I expect you to conduct a regression, a multivariable regression, or multiple regression, multifactorial, um, and try and, what we're going to do diagnostic checks. So you guys are learning, or you learned from the Z statistic videos what diagnostic checks are. And if you want to, you can, not say if you want to, if you can, you're going to make corrections to make sure that your your paper, your analysis incorporates or adjusts for any of invalidated assumptions. If you can't do that, you just keep that in the heart of the paper and explain that you have to use a different type of regression analysis to achieve that goal, or that you're not going to pursue every single regression analysis type in your papers, right? You're just going to find the one that you're going to do a multiple regression analysis, and then you're going to do the diagnostic checks and talk about the problems with doing it the way you're doing it. Possibly that's going to happen. It's not going to be perfect. So you're going to talk about the shortcomings of what you've done. And then in a future paper or in another class, you can work on, or, on your own or with me, you can work to improve your methodology. So she put the endpoint, the results, the data source. So these were primary surveys. She doesn't have access to those. The sample size. So she did a great job. Theories and theoretical framework. She included here that she used AI just to help refine her question. Alexandra, did you want to say something? Are you there? Can you hear us? Anyway, so she didn't include any quotes, not yet. So I know this was intense, and maybe this is not your final question. So you're going to get another chance to improve upon what you took here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, I'm not going to do it right now, but I'm going to look at these papers and can review if they're relevant. So it looks like she satisfied the requirement to include and all these things. She didn't put any highlights. I'll be lenient on that, but it's pretty good. She even included the findings and the relationships. Interesting. So I'll go and look at the papers and see if they're relevant. I'm going to ask her for her updated question. So I'm going to ask for that. Oh, she's not here to hear me, so I'm just going to write it down. Okay, any questions anybody here has for Alexandra? Comments, interest in her topic?
I have an interest in her topic. My
Karji?
topic, yeah, my topic is based on organizational agility in Latin American firms and how they become stronger within the supply chain. And trade blocks could be interesting topic that could be integrated. She has a broader perspective, but it could be integrated into mine. So it could be something I can look at based on what she's researching.
Okay, Alexandra, did you hear that? I'm going to pair you with Karjit, and you can help what he can help you, or you guys can discuss refining your question. If you she's saying she had trouble with the whole trade block thing, but anyway, maybe we can meet together. Okay, so let me look at Karjit's right now. Uh, the issue is finding data. Whatever you do, yes, you have to have a research question. You have to refine the research question according to the data availability in this case. All right. You got to cross, you have to intersect data availability, filling gaps in the literature, and like, having something new, and then meeting the conditions of international business, regression, like we've already discussed. So those are the intersections that you have to work with. Um, so I'm going to ask you guys to refine your research question by next week, because you're going to only have 2 weeks to do your proposal, right?
Yes.
So I need your research question for next week. I'll make that a part of the assignment and with a due date. I'm not going to let you wait 3 weeks to do that. Okay, let's look at card sheet. Okay. Um, I'm having a hard time with everything got reset. And no time to fix it. Hopefully I can do it during the break. Okay, nice. Looks good. Card sheet. Okay, so Karjit, how does organizational agility impact supply chain resilience and export performance in Latin American firms? Okay, my key concern here is getting the data. Do you have a source of data for that?
The World Bank has the surveys of Latin American companies that do export or don't do export. And based on the assignment three, uh, I could use or model seven or model eight for linear or logistic regression.
Oh,
I do have to verify the dependent and independent, sorry, the dependent variable, the second dependent variable. If
hi,
there is data,
this sounds all great. I'm really happy, Karjit, that you're that far advanced. Were you able to get the data and look at it?
I was for the first part, the independent variable of the World Bank. I did find the surveys of of about 100 firms in Latin America that do or do not do export. So I for the independent data, I do have data. I'm still checking for the second dependent data, uh, export performance. Like I have to see if there is actual percent of sales or anything for the ones that do have export.
All
That one I'm
right.
not too sure.
That's
I have to check that.
fantastic. So that's really great.
And one of the the reason what I spoke when for Alexandra was while I was doing the literature review, I found many topics on trade blocks, so that could be interesting.
Okay. Well, great. I'm gonna team you guys up. Hopefully you can meet soon and let me know how it's going. So you said the World Bank,
Yes.
and you found that from the papers you read?
Yeah. In some
Look
of
at
them,
here.
there was data that was proprietary, and I couldn't access it.
Right.
But then I found that
Is it here? This one
some
here? Enterprise survey? Oh, great.
yeah, yeah, because you mentioned that you needed the link, so I tried to
Yeah.
find links that
Well,
were
makes it easy.
similar to the links to the ones that were proprietary. Like I tried to find something that was similar.
So, are you sure you have access to all of this? Did you
N-
actually
n-
download anything or?
A couple of them I downloaded. A couple of them I downloaded, not all of them.
Okay, maybe we can set up a meeting to play with this a little bit, just to
Okay.
make sure you can get in and get everything you need and not delay. Or, sometimes you have to request for special because they all want to make money. I mean, this is the World Bank, but everybody wants to make money. So they'll withhold some things and they withhold data and you have to pay for certain things or for privacy reasons, but I don't know that there's any privacy reasons well, I don't know. There could be. This is awesome. Great job.
Thank you.
And you used yeah, okay. That's great. And the
Integrated
citation.
the Yeah, I integrated the models, the search strategies that I'm adapting in Dr. Justin Paul's class.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I was using to do the search strategies.
Yeah, so I'd like one single overarching one at the end, that captures all the papers that are relevant for you.
Do we have to write in any way in anywhere in this? I didn't write it on this assignment, but in the proposal in the literature review part, do we have to write how many
Papers you
articles were
find
found?
and
Exactly.
it's good for you to keep a record, you know. I can encourage that. I'm just like the criteria I gave you for the assignment number one is going to be what we use, but I'm going to add some conditions or some caveats or criteria for handing that in. Um, so for your proposal, right? So that's going to guide your proposal. And I prefer to have one big overarching search strategy and then yeah, tell me, I mean, I can do it myself. I can cut and paste it and see how many, but yeah, I'll make that a requirement. So standardizing across everybody to get the habit of making one big search strategy that captures everything that is relevant for you. And then, you have to exclude something. So yeah, you have a good, this is great. I like this. You have lots of countries, methodology.
I did exclude a couple because, for example, one of them, the exclusion was that it was Egypt. So I'm doing Latin America, but it still was relevant with the literature.
You're going to exclude it in the future,
Uh,
you mean? Because you had 18.
yeah, I put more. I put more.
Yeah, so you're going to have 15 that you're going to use, but you just kept a record of the one that you're going to exclude.
And then
So,
the other tab is the conceptuals where that has no regression at all.
okay. Comments, nice. Okay. In terms of finding articles, okay, so we talked about it last class. If you can't find an article, you can request that the library find it for you. In the meantime, if they find it or not, you can go into an AI and ask for details about the article. Okay. It might not give you the article, but it'll give you the details you're looking for. So, I mean, and you can't verify because you don't have the article, but at least it will give you an idea if you really want that article or not. Um, but yeah, you should actually have the article to verify because we can't completely trust any AI.
Yeah, I tried using AI to find it, and it was not a good idea because when I saw the article, it wasn't even the same article it was talking about in AI. It was like it was something completely
Were
different.
you using Copilot?
No, I was using Gemini because I was trying to use Google Scholar and try to integrate the same thing in Google, but it just was not good
You
because
cannot exclusively rely on the AI. It's so bad.
yeah, because when you found it,
Not right now.
I found it, it was just like talking about, it would tell me everything I wanted, and then when I would read the article, it wasn't even the same article. It was a completely different article and it didn't work. So the ones I used were ones that I downloaded the article. I was able
Yeah,
to find the
yeah,
actual article and
yeah,
it was actually accessible.
yeah, 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 for sure.
There
Okay,
was
so that's
there was
good.
just one that I couldn't access, but then it requested that I put my university email and it did let me access it with my university email.
Okay. So I've seen just now in Alexandra and yours, there's PLS SEM. We can talk about that at some point, what that is, SEM. These are structural equation modeling, and these are partial least squares, which means that it does an iterative type of regression. It's not a closed form. I think that's what it's called, regression. It's more like machine learning type regression, and it's very popular, but you have to buy a special software for that. Um, it's great. Sorry, I'm just going through. Okay, good. Good. Okay, so we have one pair successfully matched, you guys. Let's go through the rest. Okay, let's see. Thank you, Katiria. Okay, Andrew is not here, I think, right? Andrew? I think he wrote me a message. Okay, so he's not here, so I'll skip over that. Well, I guess we'll do it last so he can watch the video. I'll talk to him in a meeting. Okay, so I have Carlos. I have Carlos. Guys, I know everyone's using the Excel spreadsheet different, which is fine. It's fine. Not a standard. I'm just fixing it to show it. Okay, so uh-oh. Carlos, I don't have your research question. Is it on the bottom?
Uh, I had written it in the chat and then
Okay, let
yeah,
me
but then I thought that it was kind of general, so I tried to tweak it a little bit, but then I didn't share it again.
yeah. Do you know what it is? Or do you have
Yes,
it
right now I
from
was
the
including
beginning
it.
to the end? Yeah, send it to me in the chat and I'll add it just so we can look at it together.
Okay, gonna write it right now. So I just wrote it. I wanted to be more specific, but then maybe my sources are not as specific. So I'm still figuring it out.
Okay, let me see. I'm just going to clean it a bit. So you can, are you guys watching me right now? Let me make sure.
Yes, we are.
Okay, just so that it's legible, Oh, I can't minimize. So I just did this. I highlighted and I went to format cells and I use wrap text. That helps you see everything, but it adjusts to the space that you allot, just to let you know. I'm just assuming you know how to use Excel. If you're having trouble with the spreadsheet, just let me know and I'll show you the most necessary, the key things you need.
I might, because I rarely use Excel. I
Okay.
mostly use, yeah, other
So,
types of,
so is this
yeah.
helping you what I'm showing you? So just can you see what I'm doing? Format cells, and then it says wrap text, and that'll help you. It's much more easy to manage. You know what I'll do? I'll highlight in the corner here, but we can have a little meeting and I can show a few things. Wrap text. Can you see that, or is that not showing up for you what I'm doing?
I'm not seeing it, at least.
Okay.
Yeah, you stopped showing, Professor, I think.
Did I? Oh, okay. Let me do that again. All right. So what I did was I highlighted the whole spreadsheet by using the corner here, and then format at the top, format cells, and then wrap text. Can you see that?
Yeah.
And that makes it so that I can shrink all the columns at once, and it
Yeah.
makes them standard, and then these ones you want to shrink them more. There you go. So now you can see it. Okay, so you can try that. You can make this better. All right, so now these ones, you see they don't fit in that space. You have to make it bigger. Okay, so let's see. Search strategy, nice. So again, you have different ones. I want you to make an overarching large one. The question, okay, let's put the question down. Let me save this. Okay, what is the relationship between firms' cash holdings before COVID-19 and their stock returns during the 2020 COVID market crash? So, what is the timing of that crash?
I think it was obviously 2020. I think it was between February and March, I think. So I found a paper that talked about it. It's paper number 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started branching out from there to other papers. I had like more than 15, but then I started eliminating some and I just ordered them that way because I was refining my question a little bit, but maybe I need to find more papers that target that specific timeline.
Okay, let's see. I don't know if you know what I just did, but okay. Anyway, to display the whole thing, I highlight the cells and then I ask to center. This is all instinct for me. Cells center across selection, if you can see that. That's how you can display across many cells. So what is the relationship between firms' cash holdings before COVID-19 and their stock returns during the 2020 COVID market crash? Okay, what comes to mind was not, well, I guess, yeah, there was a market crash, but then right after COVID, like by 2023, the market was, I mean, people made a lot of money during COVID. Not the average person, but there was a huge wealth transfer. I wonder why are you focusing on the market crash?
during COVID.
Yeah.
Because I thought I wanted to have like a more specific date where the market crash happened instead of, oh wait, anyway, from my, I don't know much about like finances, but the other crash that had happened was in around 2008 or 2009. But since I think the government always bails out, I don't know like what other period could I take that's not like a super old period. So I was searching around and I remembered that there was a crash. But then I think the government started like giving incentives and stuff like that to boost the economy, which caused the inflation that we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I should either maybe do like a comparative kind of thing, like say, oh, some companies or some firms did not perform well during the period where the government did not give those incentives. Maybe it's a small period, and then compare it when other firms in other periods or more general periods do suffer that a market crash, and
Yeah,
then
well,
see yeah.
the comparative is between the small and medium-sized businesses and the larger businesses, the
Yeah, like
multinationals and corporations did very well. I mean, that's a natural split. Um,
yeah.
okay, hold on. I know there's something here. What I want to do is okay, let me just look a little bit around. Okay, you didn't pick which are the main articles.
No, I had debates about that because when I started off very general, I had some that I thought, whoa, okay, these are working well. But then when I wanted to focus on a period, then I just try to like clear my mind about choosing a very important paper.
Was this the
And
starting paper? Which one was your starting paper that you said you found? Was it this one, the Chang?
uh yeah, number 10.
Oh, number
Like
10. The
yeah, paper
COVID-19.
number
Oh, yeah,
10.
that's very specific. Outbreak and
Yeah.
corporate cash holding levels. Okay, corporate cash holdings. Okay. So maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, you look at that paper and you compare it to small and medium-sized businesses if you have that information. I don't know if you're going to have that information. Let's see, what are your data sources that they have here? Oh, were you able to get that data? Okay, hold on. Let me freeze this. So I to freeze the pane so I can see the titles, you go under Window and freeze panes, and then you can see the titles at the same time I scroll through, you see? So what was I doing? I was gonna look at data sources. Okay, CompuStat, right. So for public data, so none of you have asked me for access to these databases. Just letting you know, the sooner you do that, the better. If you want CompuStat, crisp data, then that's going to be with publicly traded companies. Theoretical model calibration, global firm data. You don't know the source of that? CompuStat regional firm databases. If you
Some of the
can,
paper, yeah, sorry.
go ahead, go ahead.
For the second paper, they don't like they just create their own theoretical model and then they just change some parameters and you know they oh yeah, this confirms that our framework works. But they weren't specific. At least I didn't find anything like, oh yeah, we took this data and used it as an input. And some other papers, I couldn't find again any specific. Oh yeah, this is our sources. So that was the only one that I didn't find. The other ones, that's what the paper cites.
So we
Um,
we have CompuStat, access to CompuStat data. So maybe you and I can have a meeting and I can introduce you to CompuStat, and maybe that will help. Again, make a question that intersects with the data availability, right? Like if you have CompuStat, let's make a question around CompuStat. But CompuStat is going to be mostly corporate, pretty much I don't think you have any private data, private firms there. It's publicly traded firms. So firms that are in the stock market. So big corporations. Sample size 15,000. So I just looking at this, I would say think about that. We have CompuStat Crisp data, and I think the majority of these are using that data. So that's cool. That's cool. Pecking order. So here are the theories. Nice. Okay, so conceptual framework should be different from the theoretical framework.
Oh yeah, I was gonna comment on that. I had no idea how to different like make
You
them
know,
different. Yeah.
I didn't even look at the other guys. Hold on, let me see what I kind of brushed over. What did Karjit do for that? I think I saw Alexandra like actually itemize the relationships that they were going to test. Okay, so yeah, so so you take those theories, but then how do they operationalize this? How did they test these theories? Or how did they adapt these theories for the question? That's what you would put here. So let's see. Let's see, Karjit. Back to Karjit. Um, Karjit, you had a good handle on that. You want to, okay, I'm going to show what you wrote. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I
So,
described what they did in each one.
yeah, so what did they do, right? To test or to apply the theory of resource-based view and market orientation theory. Customer orientation influences export performance in a nonlinear inverted relationship. So that's what they tested. That variation specifically is what they tested. Very good. Good job. Man, you must have worked hard on this, Karjit. How many hours did you spend on this?
A lot. And and I'm doing
But it
the
saves you time in the future. It'll save you
yes.
time
And in
because,
Dr. Justin Paul's class, I'm doing the systematic review. So here I'm doing the mathematical view, and then over there I'm doing the systematic review.
oh, good.
So
Okay.
so I get to do both and apply both of the classes at the same time.
Okay, good. Good. Okay, does that make sense, Carlos? More sense? That you would have
Yeah,
to read the
perfect.
paper and figure out how did they, um, how exactly are they going to validate or attempt to validate or model this theory.
Yeah, of course. No, it's
Okay.
way more clear now. I think I can pull it off.
Thank you, Karjit, for having a good sample. Okay, okay, and then some quotes. Okay, good. So you found some key quotes. All right, so you and I can meet and look at, well, anyway, it's just my recommendation. If you want to work on modifying your question or not, we can see what's available in CRISP to do the work and maybe model it after one of the papers that did it. So you said number 10. So number 10, I guess they used CRISP or um, no, they use the global firm data. Okay. We can look at this. Okay, so let me know when you have some time that we can do that.
Okay, I'll write up an email to schedule.
Yeah, schedule with me.
Okay.
When do you think it would be? Would it be this week or are you available better? Is it better on the weekend?
It's for me, I can do it during the week. It's fine.
Okay, I lost my. All right, so anybody interested in following or critiquing Karjit, sorry, not Karjit, Carlos, who's interested in a finance topic or firm? This is so it has to be international business. Remember the conditions are, yeah, it has to be regression, has to be international business. So it's going to have to be for multinational firms or international firms or two countries or three countries or trade bloc countries or something. You gotta get this into an international business journal because yours are all in finance, you see? So I need you to also spin this to be international business, Carlos. That's another thing we
Okay.
could work on. So anybody interested in this topic? This is I'm like uh I'm like peddling your topics to each other. So somebody, anybody? I think it's a good topic. And just we have to tweak it for sure. Any takers? It doesn't have to be so exactly like yours, but I actually think this one's pretty straightforward. We can just narrow. Okay, so no takers. So I'm gonna just have to assign somebody. And I'll do that later, not right now. Thank you, Carlos. Any questions, comments? I think it's gonna end up being George that I'm gonna put you with George. Let's look at George.
All right.
But I'm not confirming, just suggesting. What do you think, George?
I I I like it. I wanted to see other
Ah, okay, yeah.
um
Yeah. So let's just keep that pending, right? We'll
yeah,
keep it
because
pending.
I did a lot of that in my bachelor, and so it's a good topic for me to critique, but like I wanted to see other papers, but if not, it's okay. Like I'll take it. It works.
Let's just see George. Because it means like it has to go both ways. You guys are gonna work on each other's stuff. So okay, oh pretty. Very pretty here, George.
Thank you.
Color coded. And okay, nice. So you have your overarching search strategy. Okay, what's really important here? Let me share, George. Do bilateral trade agreements that include environmental provisions increase the share of renewable energy consumption among member states?
I'm gonna change that a little bit because
Uh-huh.
I was gonna add not just consumption, but also foreign direct investments in clean energy and renewable energy.
Oh, right, because you did this and then I think we talked about it, that you want to modify it a bit. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Um, just to finish this assignment then. So, let me put in the freeze panes.
Because after I was looking at the research, I found that um, along without the foreign direct investment, there were others that had researched it, so I had to change it. um,
Say it again.
there were others. There were another paper that had
Oh,
researched that, so I had to modify it to include foreign direct investments to make it different.
because someone did this exact thing that you
Yes,
have
but
here.
not to bilateral. It was in general, but um, after
Mm,
analyzing the papers,
Is it here? Is it here, the paper?
yes, I think so. If actually, I don't think I included it because it was not um, it didn't have the ranking, so I did not include it. But I did saw it. It's there. It's just in in a top journal. But yeah, in general, um, what I was thinking of was adding GDP as my control variable to analyze the foreign direct investments, because I don't want it to be, if I only look at those data, it might, the analysis might not be that good, and it'll offset. If I use the GDP, I'll be able to see, if there's a correlation between the foreign direct investment. So yeah, and in the future, I was thinking I would like to analyze, not now, not in this class, through en vivo, analyze different, the actual bilateral trade agreements, what was said in each of those trade agreements, and analyze the content of them, and see if that could give me more insights into these research questions.
So this is the one, the number one?
Yeah,
This is the one that's like it.
yeah, but they use, instead of clean energy, they use emissions, CO2 emissions. They're different. I saw a few of them, but the ones that I was very, very near mine is another one. It's not that one.
Oh,
The good thing at that one is that it uses a methodology that I can, copy and use it for mine.
okay. What I'm really interested in are the the data sources for this. Is that where are you going to get the data for this?
Majority is going to be from World Bank and World Trade Organization. Um, and there
And
was,
are you going to pick particular countries or you're going to get a
I
whole
was going to do the
block of
sample based
countries?
on all bilateral trade agreements with environmental provisions from the 1990s to 2025, because that's when environmental provisions, according to the data that I was reading, that's when they
You have
started
a
doing
list,
that.
you have that list of countries?
I don't have a list of countries. I can look at that and have it ready for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, you should because that's really important.
Okay.
Because we gotta, yeah, I think that's a real key component of what you're doing is having the list of countries, the agreements, the changes in the agreements. I guess you're going to do a panel data analysis. Is that it?
Yeah.
And then, so you can only, well, anyway, you should have complete data.
Hmm.
I mean, that's not going to be hard. It's just that that's a huge preliminary step is to make that data set
Yeah.
of the countries. Um,
That's what I was going to focus on next 2 weeks, just trying to get the data, make sure I had it in case I needed to change, anything in
refine the
terms of
question. Yeah.
I found the question.
Well, can you get me the article that you say is like this one so I can have a look at it,
Okay, I will.
identify it, and send it to me, or I'm gonna write you. Okay, so far I'm having a meeting with Carlos. George owes me a paper, and you guys are all gonna refine your next week. I'm gonna make a deadline for next Monday to have a refined research question for me. My pen just died. All right. Anybody particularly interested in George's question or George's topic? Christopher, you like it?
Yes, because some of the articles that I have influence the exportation of black tea due to environmental regulations, specifically in the European Union and the States for some pesticides. So that comes into play. They influence, for example, the Indian tea industry. It affected their perception of the product due to the visión or percepción that their tea was more adulter as opposed to, for example, other tea producing countries that have emerged as a more sustainable or agroecological, making them export at a higher price to sort of meet those European Union environmental demands of organic farming and sustainability. So I find it interesting. Maybe it could sort of has to do with the environment. It has to do with the administration of resources, in this case, mostly land and water, but all of that is also being heavily regulated, specifically in the tea industry.
So the idea of pairing you up is not is so that you can help each other, right? Work at refining your questions. Maybe you have shared interest, but like it sounds like Christopher has a very specific industry that he's looking at as opposed to the entire country, right? You're looking at industries across countries.
Yeah.
Yes, but there's sorry. No, I was
George,
gonna say
was George going to say something? Sorry, Christopher, go ahead.
But about George. I'll just go. So I was gonna say that, for example, there are some trade pacts between different tea producing countries. I have one here, the ASEAN Indian Preparation Trade Agreement, and there's also the Belt and Road Initiative in China that also intersects with environmental trade agreements that have been championed by multiple international bodies of governance, like the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, that has also influenced the financing and funding of small agricultural growers and even big industries like Unilever. The biggest, which is Lipton, which is the biggest tea company, is also publicly traded. So I just find it very interesting how they're just riding that wave of eco-friendliness.
Okay, great. You know what I'm going to do is let's look at Christopher's research questions so people know what you're working on. I just want to see data sources, George. No, it's over here somewhere, right? Countries, predictors, endpoints, findings. Nice. Okay, yeah. World Trade Organization, Have you ever gone into these databases, George? So I wanted you today to look at kind of these databases, but maybe let's just continue this discussion and then, like I said, I would have a meeting with Carlos to look at CompuStat or database. I can do the same with you, George. Anyway, you guys seem to be adept, but it might save time if I show you how to get in, because I've gotten into some of these before and it can save you time. So let's do that, George, and let me look at what Christopher did and what databases he has too.
So on my databases, I do have to include you the links because what I understood was what was the paper citing. So I just put the sources that they cite.
That's okay. That's what we talked about last class. If you can get the links, it's better because then, it's just.
But by looking at George, we have similar, like same agencies of the UN, Comtrade. So it's pretty much similar database.
Have you ever accessed that data, Christopher?
Not in depth. I when I was doing the literature review, I sort of browsed around, I perused. I just wanted to be able to upload the spreadsheets to meet the deadline, but I need to further analyze it.
So we can do that. We can have a meeting to talk about it. That'll be good for me because we can have a meeting, we can peruse and click around, and then maybe I'll present it next class for everybody who might be interested. And it'll be, I could refine what we're doing because honestly, I haven't been in that data for, I don't know, almost 10 years, I think. And it just takes me a while to familiarize myself or reacquaint myself. Okay, let's look at Chris. Does anybody have any questions about George's topic? Comments? You did a good job. You guys have all done a great job. I
Thank
guess
you.
I guess you valued the spreadsheet, right? You fully took
Yeah.
advantage of the
This,
spreadsheet.
if I would have had this in my master's degree when I did my thesis, I wouldn't I wouldn't have to do the continuation of the thesis. I would have finished in the 2 years.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you guys saw the value in this, and I really appreciate that. Yep. Yep. Okay, good. I'm glad. All right, so
Professor, I
let
showed this to my brother-in-law.
uh
He has a PhD in physics, and when he saw this, he was like, "Your professor is good in research." He was like, "I want to do this." So he asked me to share with him this the spreadsheet, so he would do
you
it.
know, I heard this um like a rule once, right? I read about it anyway, that you should only touch things once. This helps you do that. You read the paper, you extract this information and you put it away. And you don't have to really read, yeah, you have this, whatever. It's just easier to reference a line in a spreadsheet than to have to enter that paper again from scratch. So I'm glad you guys did a great job taking advantage of this tool. So that's awesome. And you're going to refine it. You're going to have two more opportunities to use it. So you're going to build on it and refine it. Great. Okay, so let's go to Christopher. You guys can put your names on your homework, like when you send it in. It's just a good habit to put your name on it. I mean, it's not a huge class, but anyway, I didn't suggest it, but it's good. It's a good practice. And the date for yourself, right? Because you're going to accumulate so many documents. It just helps. Okay, so I'm going to go back into my. Okay, so we have now Christopher. Well, I'm just going to make it a little bigger.
I'm not that well versed in Excel, but I try to expand the cells and keep it centered. I did my best to make sure it's legible.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I'm just cleaning it up a little bit. I'm going to increase the font too. To present. Okay, I'll show you what I'm doing. So that's how I learned a lot of how I operate with Microsoft Office is just watching other people use it. So I I can show you what I'm doing just to make it visible. So this is Christopher's. Um, I'm just going to stretch things up. If you just go into the edges, no, this doesn't work. All right. See, it's like you can't see everything. To be able to see it, you have to expand. So if you double click here on the edge, it will expand it just as much as you need, but then you can adjust a little bit.
Well, that's only my version. I have it all expanded. I thought that when I uploaded it, was gonna transfer those changes.
It's okay. You did great. Don't worry. It might just be an older version or something that you sent. All right, so so you went into and used the publisher parish, Christopher. Good for you.
Yeah, if I couldn't find any ABDC, I said might as well find the H index to see if it's worthy or not.
Yeah, and it was okay, and you knew how to use it. You used the code,
Oh,
right?
I downloaded the software to my laptop, and I did it through Google Scholar and the other one.
Yeah, Google Scholar, and then you did 5 years. You set it for 5 years, right?
5 years since the day that it was from the year that it was published.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then and the other thing is you use the SSIN, what is it?
Yes, that's basically how I
ISSN.
searched it. I would just put the
ISSN number.
online ISSN and physical.
Okay, great. Good job. It's not that hard to use, and it's a good habit to use it. I just want to see everything. It's because I know what happened with this, Christopher, is I increased the font. That's why things aren't fitting. Just to
I'm getting scared because it looks incomplete, but I haven't completed.
It doesn't look incomplete?
Oh no, now when you were expanding, it looked like some research questions were missing, but now I see them all because I also have it open, so I'm trying to follow along.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's just, I made the font like 22, so it's really big. All right, so how do international trade tariffs, exchange rates, and logistic costs affect the export volume of tea from major producing countries to key global markets? And you've marked the key papers. And the papers are good, and the ones that aren't in ABDC are still okay. And yeah, like I noticed when I was looking for articles, there were some great ones, but I couldn't find them. So how did you find the articles?
So for the last one in particular, this one, the Tea Boat Initiative, when I found it, I was able to download it once, and then I accessed this journal of tea science, but it was only Mandarin. So I went to Sistema de Bibliotecas, and even though they had it in Mandarin, I just used the link, and I tried to find a version that it had like Mandarin and English. And so I had Copilot, since I don't know Mandarin, like to try to help me try to sort out those language barriers. So that was it was a hassle. I had to use a lot of Copilot because these sources based usually from China, they're really good. They have regressional analysis, but language barrier.
Right. Let me see if I can. Did I show you guys? I think we talked about just translating a page like on a website.
Yeah, that's basically what I did. That's basically what I did with Copilot and with Sistema de Bibliotecas. I had them help me translate part of it. That's the only article that I couldn't download because I did, but it was only Mandarin, so couldn't really use it.
But it's not. There's no URL. It's a PDF, right? You got a PDF.
The URL brings me to a PDF, but the PDF has the Mandarin and then some English parts, so
Okay.
it's all messed up.
Okay,
Let's see
but
if I can find it.
it's okay. I got it here. URL. Okay, yeah. All right, so let me just show you. I think I did talk about this, but okay, we should take a break in a minute. Okay, so here is a page. It says error, but I just want to show you if I didn't already. This thing up here, if you click this thing, it will translate automatically the page. Did I show you guys that? So do you see it? It's like with the quotation A and
Yeah.
then some symbols. So it'll translate the page right like that to English. I think you can change it so it translates to Spanish too, preferred language. Like it's incredible. There's no barriers. The barriers are coming down for language. So if I want to change it to, oh, I don't have patience, but you can actually change what it's set to. If the default is English on mine, but yours probably is Spanish. Did you see what I did? Could you guys all see that?
Yes.
So right here. So if you don't see that, I don't know what to do, but maybe you have to change your settings or preferences, but it should be appearing as an option.
I actually use Google Scholar, which takes me to Sistema de Bibliotecas, and from there I access the actual PDF. And that's when I had Copilot help me translate part of it.
With Copilot, I'm sorry, with a PDF you can't do this. But if it's on a URL, if you find a URL that presents the paper, you can do that. So that's pretty cool. All right, so keep all this stuff somewhere in mind. If you don't use it, you lose it. All right. So, okay, so back to, I just wanted to see, are you modifying your question or
So
you're good?
I was thinking about the exchange rates because some of the articles they're exchanging currency even though they deal in US dollars. Maybe that's gonna be something when I access the data. For example, Sri Lanka versus India, their currency fluctuates their value. So maybe that's gonna sort of throw my data off. Maybe I could just put a parameter. I don't know how world currencies
Try and
work.
find a paper on exchange rates to see how they did it.
I think one of these papers, the one that I like was in the impact of the number 9, the impact of non-tariff measure on Sri Lankan teen trade, as well as paper 10 and paper 6. They do touch the exchange rate, but they already have it converted to a US dollar. So I will have to dig deeper to see how they did that conversion better.
Yeah.
But they use GDP. So I guess I'll have to just sort of use GDP as a standard to sort of aggregate it and not go convert currency. It takes too much time.
It's a good issue. Wow. Like so data cleaning that's pretty much what we're talking about. Preparing your data is going to take you the longest time. Like 60-70% of your time is cleaning, transforming, coding, whatever it is you have to do. So that's why you got to start as soon as possible because you don't want to be coding data in December, right? And that can happen if we don't iron out what the heck we're doing. So Christopher, if you need, we can talk about that in person. I'm gonna just look in the exchange rate.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so I think if you guys are happy, I can pair you two together. But let's see the rest of the people. Let's see the rest of the topics too. And I think you got everything in here. Yeah, different kinds of models. data sources. Okay, so in terms of publicly available data sources, government. Okay, so yeah, you got to be more specific so we can find that data that you need. Okay. Okay, and then you too can work on your conceptual framework column. You understand better what I want, Christopher?
Yes, now that I've been seeing an example, I sort of better grasp what the conceptual
Just
framework
check
refers to.
how they used market integration theory, how they adapted to test the market integration theory or aspects of it. Okay, so I know I'm asking you a lot, but you, like I said, we're going to refine this. You're going to be better in the next round at preparing the sheet. Okay, any questions? Anybody have questions for Christopher? Let's take a break. We can take 15 minutes if you want, 15-minute break. And we'll meet back here at 7:40. Bye. I'm going to pause the video. All right, so let's look at Andrew's. I like it. I like his research question. Satisfied. Okay, so the question he has is he's basically testing inverse farm size productivity hypothesis. And he's going to look at over time, the impact of smaller farm size on productivity, because the hypothesis suggests that the smaller the size, the more productive farms are. Do you have a hypothesis? I mean, do you have your own hypothesis? Do you suspect it's going to work, Andrew? That you're going to find this to be true? He wrote me saying his connection wasn't great. So if he doesn't respond, it's okay. Are you there? I can't hear you, Andrew.
I'm on like a hotspot right now.
On your phone?
Yes. Um, my hypothesis is that this inverse relationship is correct under certain circumstances, like the type of farm and the country in which the analysis is being done. In essence, like uh, more developed more developed countries that have that produce grains and other types of larger commodities would not fit this hypothesis. But, fruits, vegetables, other types of production uh, would fit this hypothesis.
Are you going to test what you just recommended or what you suggested just now? Are you going to test that? Like the difference
I am.
between.
There's some studies. Yeah, there's some studies that in different countries, namely in the global south, that do provide evidence that Barry's hypothesis is correct in those markets. And then I found some studies that look at.
Yeah, we can't hear you. Oh, can you hear me though? Put it in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna read the chat. So he says the signal's bad. He's gonna put it in the chat. So basically, yeah, I asked if you're gonna test that hypothesis for different products or different, what am I trying to say? Yeah, products or different produce. I found some studies that look at Australia and other larger markets in the global north that disprove the hypothesis. Okay, so you suggest that it's the hypothesis works for tropical climates, or I guess it's tropical, right? Fruits. Not necessarily, because there are fruits in the north, but only for a season. I guess you have to think about how you're going to look at this in terms of, is it geographical? Is it, that's interesting. Is it geographical, or is it, again, developmental? Because if it's developmental, then like you said, like there's only so much they can do to adapt. Or I found studies that look at Latin American countries and African and Asian countries that find the hypothesis to be true. Okay. Okay, so let's look at your sheet. So you didn't, okay, you found the key paper. It's Albert Berry's paper, and this was in the top economics journal. And when did you do this? Okay, so this is a while ago, so that's interesting too. You're going to test the hypothesis in a modern era when small farms, oh, well, there's less farms. That's another thing. There's less farms. And that's a variable too. If the because what kind of time, what is the time you're going to look over? What years? Two perspectives. Within the context of Puerto Rico, how has the average farm size changed since 1940? Comparing Puerto Rico results to other Latin American Caribbean countries, which typically prove the hypothesis of Berry is true. Okay. Okay, so this is interesting because it it challenges what's happened in the last 30 years with the merger and conglomeration of farms, right, into these big farms in the States. So so it's not true in the States then, Andrew, right? Is that what you're saying? This is not true in the States. In general, the yield, your dependent variable is output per hectare. Each country's data varies. Not every country does a reliable and consistent agricultural census. I will look at the last few decades, 90s, in geopolitical context, the effect of NAFTA, demographic change from rural to urban, and subsidies. Yeah, I think you have to look at subsidies, because subsidies have I believe subsidies contributed to making these huge farm or huge operations like what am I trying to say? Just these monocrop farms have been reinforced with subsidies. So that would be something to include or look at in the US Berry hypothesis would be untrue due to the effect of precision agricultural tractors, increased size and machinery. Okay. All right, so let's look at your document here. So these are not exactly international business journals, although when you get into developmental studies, that is international. So when I started teaching in the faculty and working with international business, because we had finance and international business, but international business students were advised that what's international business is cross-country comparison, so like 2 countries or more. And that would qualify you. So that's why it's fitting that he's going to look at Puerto Rico versus, other or with or alongside other Latin American countries. Yeah. Developing countries. So it fits the mold. The search strategy concerns me here because you just use ChatGPT. I want to avoid that. I want you to use this Boolean search strategy so it's more systematic, because ChatGPT will give me, from version to version, it will yield different results. But you can be pretty systematic if you have to date, if you use a Boolean search strategy, you can be pretty systematic from year to year. You just have to get any updates. Like what you can do, let's say this was a topic you wanted to follow or you wanted to develop during your thesis, and your thesis can take 2 to 5 years and to longer. You don't want it to take too long. And all you want to do is you want to set up alerts. You can set up alerts in Google Scholar to notify you when more articles appear for your search strategy. Are you guys aware of that? Did I mention that to you? So you can set that up in Google Scholar to alert you. So you're going to get an email drop of any articles that have to do with your topic, and you can use your refined search strategy to set that up. And that's really useful so that it'll be in your inbox, you read it, you decide if it's relevant or not, you put it in you can download it, you can add it to your database, either if you have a reference manager or you continue using this spreadsheet. Okay, so yeah, don't use ChatGPT for that. I want you to use search strategies. You can stick the search strategy into ChatGPT and see how that goes. I just suggested Google Scholar because it's gotten so good at reaching into all these databases. Okay, Andrew. Barry's hypothesis had a huge effect on international development policy and where international aid dollars would be spent. The conventional wisdom at the time was that farms needed to get bigger to increase farm productivity. Yeah, I know, it's brilliant that he thought in a contrarian way and has evidence to support himself. Barry in the 1970s proved that in Colombia, as farms got bigger, their productivity declined. This helped shift the conversation on how to build resilient food systems, and that supporting small productive farms may in some cases outcompete large farms and increase a country's food production. Love it. Right. Okay, so you got my point about the ChatGPT, right? You're going to work on developing, refining, improving a comprehensive search strategy. So your journal quality, you ended up in publish or perish, which isn't bad. Good job. Good job. Nope, not bad at all. Good. Years, countries, methodology. So it's international, but is it international business? I guess maybe, I don't know. You should think about looking at export data too. Like how much is that for domestic and how much is for export? Anyway, I'm not sure, but it just seems like it should have something to do with what they export versus what they consume domestically. Okay, you didn't put in, maybe you ran out of time to do this stuff here with the predictors. So for the next round, you're going to work on that, right? Yeah, he's in and out. Andrew is in and out. I just said, yeah, you're going to fill these in, Andrew, for the next round. And results, yeah, you ran out of time. Data source for empirical. So the data source is very interesting. So you have the farm surveys for Puerto Rico, which is cool. I know I've seen those books. Can you get the digital? You're going to get the digital data. You have access to that. Okay, so you got to work on this for next round, Andrew. Okay, so you know what? The next round is going to be the papers you're going to use specifically for your research question, because you're going to refine your research question, and then you're going to invest some time to fill all this in for me. All right. So I like it. Anybody particularly interested in this topic? I think it's interesting to everybody, right?
Yeah. The economics of scale, basically, right? But
But inverted?
yeah.
And how does that work? That's why he has his own hypothesis, because
Hmm.
it doesn't fit. Yeah, it challenges economies of scale, and it challenges what's been happening in agriculture in the United States. I wonder what's going on in Europe. I wonder if this what did he say about Europe?
And if it works the same for all industries, or if there are differences in
Yeah, the
industry.
products. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of good questions. If he focused on Puerto Rico, he could get into the details because he has a very um, robust, complete data in those farm surveys. All right, so he's kind of in and out. Oh, he wrote something. For the international business lens, this hypothesis could help guide private investment, agricultural production, food agribusiness, food manufacturing. This would challenge the norm that large agricultural projects, which typically obtain huge political and government support, help move economies in rural areas. Yeah, they're probably crowded out by those subsidies, those government subsidies, and then I'm not sure exactly how the loan structure works here, but I know that they do give agricultural loans, and I don't know if they're more likely to give them to big operations. Yeah, great. Like it. Hmm. Okay. All right, so that is Andrew's work project, and um, what I'll do is I will probably send out an email asking you guys who you choose in the end, because I did say Karjit and Alexandra could work together, but maybe if you change your mind, you can write me who you'd like to be with after this overview. Probably that email will be for, I don't know that, or I need to hear from you by like Thursday or something, so then you can have the weekend to meet with your partners. Um, all right, so very good. I'm gonna go to my next person. Okay, Andrew, let's do. Anybody want to go particularly next, or I'm just gonna pick? Anna Laura's here. Mhm. And you guys need to remember your use of AI. Anna Laura, you did not include it here. Transparency.
So Hannelore, she has no power.
Okay. So I'll just review it and she can look at it later. Okay, so make sure you write it, Annalore, that you used AI into the Excel spreadsheet for next round, next time. All right, so her question was, if you guys remember, how does enforcement of the Foreign Corruption Practices Act impact the foreign direct investment? Sorry, oh, something happened. Impact the foreign direct investment of U.S. multinational companies in emerging markets. Is that a U.S. act? Sorry for my ignorance. Hear me? Okay, so this is going to be, and who deals with that? Who oversees that? Is that who is that? Who would be, whose jurisdiction is the FCPA? Which department? Okay. SEC. All right, so let's see. So this was a key article. Policemen for the World, the impact of extraterritorial FCPA enforcement on foreign investment and internal controls, accounting review. Okay, let's look at the journals. Okay, so these are, you guys know what I'm going to say about this, right? The challenge here, as easy it was to find papers, the challenge is going to be to position it as an international business topic because, you know, you guys can write and write and write and write, but you need to frame, you need to delimit, you know, carve out what you're going to talk about. There's legal issues here. There's accounting issues here, right? You don't want to get into that really. Going to be superficial in those aspects, but you want to talk about the business. So that's why she's doing FDI, because that's an international business variable. But you have to stay there. So how does it impact the foreign direct investment of U.S. multinational companies? Okay, so you have specifically indicated multinational companies. So these are not international business journals, only this kind of cross-cultural. Okay, this would cross-cultural and strategic management. Okay, so that's like international business. Multinational. Okay, so you see, like, so you got to be careful about the spin if you understand what I mean, Anna Laura. How you're going to keep it, always keep it in international business. Okay, so then the research goes search strategy. So she stuck with one because it was so productive. She stuck with one search strategy. She didn't need to go into other ones. And remember, we generated this in class very easily. Okay, so, oh, she went through all of these, inclusion and exclusion. Oh, I was thinking about why and why not. Okay, that's fine. You didn't have to do that, but that'll be for next round. Countries of analysis. Okay, firm countries investing in high versus low corruption countries. Interesting. Methodology difference. So these are all the models that were used. Predictors, endpoints. and what they found. Nice, nice, nice. Data sources, great. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, Ana Laura, the same as the other guys. Have you tried to get into this data? Like, I don't know. I don't know. We have limited SEC data. Kateria and I were looking at that she was looking at that when we went into CompuStat and CRISP, or the words, Wharton words. So do you have experience getting this data? Okay, so we're going to have to do that this week, right? Because you're going to refine your question. You have to make sure that the data is available. So I'm going to include you on a meeting to look at those databases. And you guys have to tell me if you want permission, because we have to ask for request permission for you to access that data. Theoretical framework. Okay, so you're a little stuck on some of these, couldn't find it. Stronger enforcement, anti-corruption. Okay. Very specific and central framework, highlights difficulties. Okay, good. Good. So that's it. It needs to remain in the international business sphere. You got to work on figuring how to do that and narrowing what you're going to do exactly with your ability to get the data. So we'll talk about that. All right. Any questions, comments people have about this project? This is the first and only time I'm going to do that. Next time, you're going to give me a really good one that I don't have to go through it and tell you what you did wrong and right. I'm just showing you now. And at the same time, advertising your research idea, promoting your research concepts. Okay, no comments, no questions.
I have a question regarding, for example, the search strategy.
Mhm.
If I'm gonna keep the sources that I have, because I did Boolean search strategy for the first one. The other ones I did a measure of after the direct Google Scholarships. I used the tab of cited by or related
Yeah,
by.
and
That's
that's
how
what
I
I want
first
you
started.
to that's what I want you to put here in this column, how you found the article. So you could say like the above and cited by, just so
Okay.
you remember the flow of how you got things.
Okay, perfect.
But if you could actually make an all-encompassing search strategy that gets them all, that's even better. But you don't have to kill yourself doing it. And I'm satisfied with this, but just keep a record. Or even like with references, right? The above yielded an article where the references included this paper or something like that. Anyway, just to keep notes. Okay, so let's go on to the remaining two I think I have, and then we can go for today. I have Kateria. Let's look at hers. We lost Jonathan. And by the way, you guys focused on English journals, right? But you can spend some time looking in the Spanish literature as well. Again, you can use Latin Index to qualify the journals. We talked about that last week, right? So you guys can try that this week as well. I mean, some of you are doing Latin America and Puerto Rico papers, so that would be wise to look for more articles.
Profesora, quiero son las palabras. Lo hago en español porque se me hace mucho más cómodo. La tabla de la revisión de literatura, entiendo que lo que usted tiene no es lo último que tengo.
Ah, ¿quiere pasarlo? ¿Quiere?
Todo lo en un Excel, en tanto así como la primera asignación, la segunda y la tercera, que son las regresiones, todo lo tengo en un mismo Excel. Y lo he ido nutriendo lo que es la revisión de literatura. Y qué bueno escuchar que también se puede en español, porque no había puesto en español ningún paper ni journal, ningún artículo.
Pues, this is yours, right? Esa es la tuya.
Sí, pero a modo básico sigue siendo la misma pregunta. Lo que ha cambiado ha sido pues algunos artículos.
Ok, está bien, está bien. Pero ¿quiere compartirla con nosotros?
Yo lo que me encantaría es
Ujú.
aprovechar para aclarar, más que todo, ir definiendo bien. Yo puse la pregunta lo más simple, lo más sencilla posible. Por sencilla, pero directa, que tuviesen las variables principales de las que quiero, pues, de las que quiero, que quiero identificar y de donde se parten los artículos, que es medir el efecto de la innovación pues en el rendimiento financiero de las empresas multinacionales. Luego, pues claro, lo iré para mi propuesta, lo iré redefiniendo, lo entro dentro de una industria en específico, con un poco de más cuerpo, de más detalle. Pero quería identificar, ¿verdad? Si la pregunta estaba correcta, porque más que todo lo que a mí me llama la atención es cómo yo relaciono lo que es la mayoría, cuando hablamos de comercio y comercio internacional, cualquier comercio nos llama la atención es cómo un producto le da valor a una empresa. Y de este producto, pues yo quería sacar, ¿verdad? Lo que es la dimensión pues, dentro de la innovación, la dimensión de un nuevo producto, relacionarlo a su desempeño financiero, su rendimiento financiero, ya que cuando hablamos de un valor de una empresa, pues lo hablamos en un valor numérico.
Okay, let's see. Let me see. Structural regression.
Ahí tengo muchas más, compañeros, artículos.
Okay, no, that's good. Endpoint. Okay. Variables, independent innovation efforts, and dependent variable financial performance.
Está bien.
Oh, this is not yeah.
No, ese era el ejemplo de...
Del otro. Ajá.
Sí, esa tabla está mal.
It's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. Pero
Sí.
anyway,
Y después mostrarla aquí.
yeah. I'm gonna. You know what? You can show me yours. I'll. You want to share yours? Just share yours.
Sí,
I'll
he
stop.
estado todavía en el proceso porque he estado precisamente depurando, porque es con identificar un buen papers porque cuando hablamos de la innovación, medir en la innovación. hay que leer esos papers, de verdad.
Sí, sí,
Hay
sí,
que
sí.
buscar para
Pero, pero,
adaptarlo. Sí,
¿tuviste tiempo de encontrarlo? Did you find that?
sí, vamos a ver qué tengo.
Okay, enséñanos.
Déjame ver de lo que tengo aquí.
Sí,
Vamos a ver, porque no le
estoy
he...
de acuerdo, no es fácil. Tiene que leerlo y cómo medir, no, how do they operationalize innovation? What
Sí, pues,
variables are they using? What are they following?
¿cómo lo hago
All of them
realista?
say innovation, but they're all different for
Ya,
sure.
¿cómo lo hago realista también? Con mi tiempo, con mi presupuesto también, mi
Ujú.
tiempo, presupuesto, porque también yo quiero hacer, si voy a hacer una propuesta para este curso, el tiempo que yo tengo, la
Exacto,
limitación. Si me
exacto,
voy nada más por R&D, si
exacto.
selecciono estas compañías multinacionales, el gasto en R&D o un periodo de tiempo, si selecciono patentes, cómo lo... vamos,
Y R&D es común porque es fácil encontrarla.
sí, 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 pero no sé si...
Pero, ok, sí. Ujú.
Not trace, not turn on. So request.
Perdona, sí, go. Y falta Víctor.
No sé si me puede. Pues porque, a modo de ejemplo, vamos a ver aquí.
Nice. This is better, right?
No, sí,
Yeah.
déjame seleccionar aquí.
Yeah, it looks good. I can see. Maybe a little bit bigger. Does she need to make it a little bit bigger for everybody? No,
Este,
no, bigger. No, the font is bigger, not the.
ah,
Yeah, the font. Yeah, that's good. No, that's good, good, good. You had it. You had it good.
ya, ahora mismo estoy tratando de acordar, buscar cuáles eran.
I
Un
think you
ejemplo,
guys. It looks like you made a labor of love, all of you. You did a good job.
me llamó la atención porque hablamos de Estados Unidos. Financial Performance and Innovation Evidence from the United States y el periodo, porque es bien difícil encontrar estudios relacionados a la innovación, que relacionen la
Ajá.
innovación y el Financial Performance con una muestra de los Estados Unidos. Casi siempre hablamos de Europa, e incluso África y países de Oriente, pero de
Mhm.
Estados Unidos como tal, eh, son muy pocos, son muy pocos.
Mhm.
Este como tal, tengo que, espérate, aquí no tengo el journal, tengo que actualizar, tengo el TOEIC, tengo que buscar aquí que, ese es de Cornell, si no me equivoco, no es una, me encantó,
Mhm.
al igual que hizo, creo que fue de Christopher, que tenía también artículos muy buenos, pero no están dentro de la clasificación
Sí, pero
de
puedes
AST.
verificar en el Publisher Parish.
Ujú,
¿Lo conociste? Ok. Puedes
porque,
verificarlo.
porque en ocasiones muchas de ellas son como Cornell, tiene un área o la misma Kellogg's tiene, este de Starbucks, me encantó porque algo que yo estoy alineada mucho pues en la industria del café y Kellogg School of Management. eh, tiene un prestigio, tiene lo que los autores son muy buenos, que tanto así que los autores sí están sí están salen en journal que son A+, pero esta publicación, por ejemplo, no está dentro, no está listado, pero sus autores tienen mucho reconocimiento.
Sí, ok. No, está bien. ¿Cuál fue el periódico? ¿Cómo se llamaba? ¿Cómo?
Este, por ejemplo, fue
Ajá.
de Kellogg School of Management.
Pero no, it was like a trade journal? In a trade journal?
Tengo que ver, ahí tengo que,
College School of Management. Ok, ok, entiendo, entiendo. Ok.
un estudio de caso.
Mm. Good, ok. No, está bien, es ok. Katy, porque decimos que 20% puede ser, no importa. So, está bien. Y ok, dime cómo me miden innovación en ese artículo, cómo lo hicieron.
Como tal, en este artículo no hubo una medición, pero sí me hablaron del desarrollo de la compañía, entre ellos reconociendo la innovación como pieza clave para su éxito. Sobre todo la competitividad, cómo ha sido competitivo. Es, es bien importante, ¿verdad? Porque me resalta la innovación y también me resalta, me traen números eh, de cómo así, con el tiempo ha sido cómo ha estado capitalizada Starbucks. Es más que todo pues, un estudio de casos. Aquí no hay no es un estudio
Ah,
empírico,
ok,
no es
ok,
empírico como tal, este de Starbucks. Pero
ok.
sí me trae, como Starbucks es una de las corporaciones, las compañías de los Estados Unidos, una multinacional de las que más se distingue dentro de la industria del café, pues se me hace pues, base tener una relación de una compañía. Tengo otras que ciertamente lo han medido a través de R&D o las patentes, muy general, pero los estudios que están más completos han sido a través de cuestionarios. Eh, pero esos cuestionarios, algunos estudios han sido no han sido con empresas multinacionales, han sido pues, han sido pequeñas y medianas empresas de cierta región en particular,
Ujú.
eh, que sí, ya por eso hice la mención de cuánto tiempo, cuán costoso sería hacer un estudio yo hacer un cuestionario. Pero ciertamente yo entiendo que se puede traer algo de alguna multinacional de los Estados Unidos, identificando métricas que identifiquen tanto el
So
rendimiento
hay
financiero
una métrica es patentes, ¿no?
Ujú.
Otra es R&D spending.
Sí, para la R&D sería, bueno, sí, para identificar la innovación, pero también
Y el
tienes
otro, si
funciones.
lo pone como tecnología, ese otro. Y puede encontrar los gastos de tecnología en los financial statements.
Exacto, exacto.
Ahora tengo tres, pero no es fácil, ninguno.
Igualmente los anuncios, los productos, porque a veces las multinacionales, cuando vamos al SEC o identificamos los informes financieros, bueno, ver si encontramos la descripción en específico o tengamos podamos identificar el producto como tal. Por ejemplo, cuando hablamos de Apple, tenemos el iPhone. Apple ya lo ha tenido, pues lo tenemos segregado. Pero otras compañías es muy difícil que esté segregado, que está todo junto. Que si identificamos compañías que tengan ese producto, claro, lo tenga segregado, sería muy bueno.
Okay. So, okay, so listen, I can let you send me this one. Voy a abrir el portal. Si ustedes quieren, me pueden enviar esa otra vez antes del medianoche, ¿ok? Para, actualizar tu literature review. So, estoy leyendo la más reciente. But it looks good. It's very interesting. I like
Sí.
it. but
Sí,
you,
por lo menos a mí me gusta, porque bien, cuando hablamos necesitamos medir, sobre todo
but
necesitamos,
maybe you can do that.
quiero
You can,
medir innovación, valor, ok, ¿cuánto me está dejando? ¿Cuánto realmente quiero verlo?
but
Quiero ver.
let's see if we can keep it easy. Si
No,
si puede con los multinacionales comparar la métrica, like the measure of R&D spending con patentes, con el otra fue patentes, oh, and technology spending, algo así, y comparar, verificando si te dan los mismos resultados, ¿me entiende? Like use the three different factors to see if they give you the same result. Something simple. Kathy,
sí,
this is
estoy
not your
jugando.
thesis. Ese curso es nada, you know, ese no es tu
Sí,
tesis.
lo sé, pero me
Algo
pongo a jugar
fácil.
rápido y, ajá,
Did I
me,
explain myself well, George? Did I explain it well, or can you try in Spanish for me, somebody? Or Christopher, were you listening?
Sí. Yes, I was listening. ¿Qué pasó in Spanish?
Yeah, tell her what
Para,
I was trying to say. If she could do her research just looking at the impact of three different variables to see if they yielded the same result to qualify the value of, you know, innovation, spending on R&D as a predictor of performance, compare that with spend, like maybe run all three variables and see which one is more predictive of performance. Can you explain that?
yeah, so, cojan las tres variables que están interesadas, cuánto se está invirtiendo en
desastre.
desarrollo.
She
¿Perdón?
understands.
Ah, ok.
Okay. But you can put them all in the same regression, Kathy.
Sí, sí, pero mi problema es que tengo la visión de que hubiese sido el análisis comparativo, no lo veía entre los datos, bueno, entre como tal, entre si iba a ser patente o R&D, sino veía la comparación quizás entre dos compañías, una nacional y otra internacional. Dos multinacionales, una quizás de Estados Unidos como Keurig y la otra Nespresso, por decir así, dentro de la industria del café. Y como ambas desarrollan lo que son máquinas, pues ahí tengo patentes y R&D y ver la competitividad de ambas.
But
United States
you can do it
versus.
for many countries. You could do it, I mean, many businesses, not just two. You test it for many businesses and look at the average effect.
Ujú. Ok, algo va.
I'm just suggesting right now.
Sí, está bien, para lo de aquí está perfecto, sí.
But we can just, but the difference could be national, multinational, but many companies to see so we can talk about more about the model, but this is good. You have something anyway. You're going to have to also be in the meeting to discuss the databases, which databases let me see the databases. Show me the databases they're using. Or they
Ah,
didn't really enseñar.
ahí en su mayoría cuestionarios.
Oh, eran cuestionarios.
Sí,
Okay.
muchos son cuestionarios, otros pues claro, sacar métricas cuando hablamos de financial performance o return on assets. Vamos a ver,
Pero
déjame.
entiende cómo lo podemos hacer con CRISP o Compustat.
Sí, sí, un ejemplo, secondary company reports, media.
Ujú.
Este era el descriptivo, pero la mayoría son
Surveys.
¿ya? Es la manera en que se ven.
Okay, so maybe because Compustat doesn't have patents, Compustat doesn't have R&D. I think it has R&D, Compustat. Anyway,
Puedo hacer algo sencillo aquí para la
We'll have
próxima.
to look. We'll have to look like this week. We have to check para verificar porque no tiene tiempo de hacer surveys. No tenemos.
Aquí
Pat
tenemos,
stat.
ah,
Okay, so that's a database. Pat stat.
bien, para las patentes. Las patentes sí se pueden conseguir cómodos. Hay sus bases
CompuStat.
a nivel.
CompuStat.
Sí, y también en la página web directamente a nivel internacional de las patentes.
Okay, so you have something for sure. Okay, any comments of anybody? Questions, comments? That looks like a good paper then for what we're going to try. 100 to 200 European firms in CompuStat. It's great.
Sí, así debe ser lo que tengo.
So they use CompuStat for the firm data, but they use this patent website.
Ujú.
Okay, very good. All right, so any guys comments? No, no, no. Okay, Katiria looks good. I will open the portal so you can send this to me. So I have the
Okay.
most recent one, and it's great. And we got to work on that. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna send an email and remind you guys to meet with me about the databases that we can figure out what's in them together. So that at the end of this week you have a better idea the source and whether you can actually answer or test your question, test your hypothesis. Okay. All right, great. Um, good. Okay. And anybody interested to pair with Kateria with this topic? Everybody's kind of interested. Kind of.
Katia era enfocado mayormente en industria del café, ¿verdad? Específicamente, lo de Research and Development.
Sí, es que amo el café.
No.
Y es una industria que para muchos es tan aburrida que no la relacionarían con la innovación, no la relacionan con la innovación. Y fue lo cuando se me hace aún más retante. Cuando quise traer, cuando tú piensas en innovación, piensas más en, ok, tecnología, automáticamente piensas en quizás Nvidia, Apple, diferentes tipos
Exacto.
de otras compañías. Sí, no pensaría, café, pues sí. ¿Acaso Nespresso no se hizo famoso por la innovación en las máquinas
So
de café,
tenemos
los
té y
K-Cups?
café. We
Estoy
have
pensando en
tea and
eso,
coffee in this.
que
Sí.
también se conecta
Sí.
mucho con la innovación que hay también en el mundo del té con el matcha, lo ceremonial, cómo se está mercadeando,
Starbucks, los sabores, los
sí,
cambios.
los blends, yeah.
Ujú.
También Starbucks compró Tivana, so, es
Y,
interesante.
y en un negocio, y a Nespresso también,
Sí,
y a cualquier negocio en una pequeño, en una esquina, tú tienes que mantenerte innovando, pero
yes.
hay que demostrarlo, hay que demostrar que verdaderamente le genera valor a tu negocio. Y lo quise hacer dentro de una industria que me apasiona. Soy oriunda de Yauco, del pueblo del café, de familia, de mi abuelo que en paz descanse, que se dedicaba al café, y a mí que me tiene aquí estudiando, que quiero como generación innovar.
Carlos, ¿tiene comentario?
Sí, quería decir que el tema me interesa mucho el café también. Me apasiona mucho. O sea, no sé mucho de business de café, pero como consumidor, en los últimos meses he aprendido a grind tu propio café, me meto en la cultura y he aprendido que se está desarrollando, por lo menos en ese niche, ¿verdad? De la gente que le gusta el café, se desarrollan productos para brew o hacer el café de diferentes maneras. So que no sé si, o sea, que me gusta el tema, lo que quiero decir. Que
Siete-
si,
787 es uno de los ejemplos que me fascina.
Ujú.
sí.
Como puertorriqueño, aquí tengo un compañero que es de Maricao, si no me equivoco. Ellos tienen una finca en Maricao, como en New York, como en Texas, aquí en Puerto Rico. Tienen unos coffee shops y una variedad de sabores que incluso incluyen el ron en sus
Ujú.
cafés. Eso es innovación.
Yeah, I
Eh,
saw 787 a few weeks ago and I thought, wow, that's amazing. What a great
ujú,
name too. My goodness.
ujú, ujú,
Branding, great branding.
ya,
Yeah,
innovación también.
very smart,
Sí,
very
innovación.
smart.
Yo no sé tampoco tanto de negocio. Cuando hablo de mi familia, lo más sencillo es el cultivo del café. Pero
Mhm.
igualmente, desde lo más sencillo es reconocer lo bueno. Y hace falta atenderlo. Y quise hacer eso.
Well, with coffee,
Ujú.
there's different businesses, right? You have the retail, and then you have the restaurant, the cafe, like they're different. Like, I mean, they're connected, but they're, you know what I'm saying? The industry is different. Selling coffee is different from serving coffee. That's another thing. Not sure how that fits in, but okay. Okay, Carlos is into coffee. Good. All right. So maybe Kathy and Carlos. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send you guys a message and you're gonna respond to me who you want to pair with, and then I'll make the announcements before Friday. All right, so one more. We have Victor. Thank you so much, Kathy. Great, great, great. Victor. I think this is Victor. Victor, what is your research question? Because you don't have it on the paper here.
Era sobre el desarrollo económico, un análisis comparativo entre Uruguay y Puerto Rico a nivel de variables macroeconómicas y de expansión.
Can you put it in the chat?
Déjame buscar.
So okay, you guys know what I'm going to say about this, right? What am I going to say about this? So he's going to make it international business by comparing two countries. I need to see the question. Economic growth? I'm waiting for the question. Because these are all economic journals. They're not international business. We need to position it into international business. This is not just business, it's not just economics, it's international business. So trade, right? Negocio internacionales. This is about trade. I'm waiting, Victor. So, see, if you did not qualify the papers, I mean the journals. Mm, yeah, I went through this last week. This needs to be much more of a spin of international business. These are all economics, and you're going to have trouble. At the outset. Okay, what I need from you, Victor, the class is almost over. I need you to make a better question that has to do with international business.
Envié las preguntas y las variables que estaría utilizando para el modelo de regresión.
Existen diferencias significativas en el impacto de variables como inversión, empleo o comercio sobre el crecimiento sectorial entre ambos países. Comercio, empleo o comercio sobre el crecimiento sectorial. Para el caso de Puerto Rico se utilizan los datos de Country Business Patterns. Uruguay, los datos del Instituto Nacional de Estadística, variables que mostraron crecimiento en la economía de Puerto Rico en periodo. So you've used this database before, Country Business Patterns, INE. You've used this before, Victor? You know how to enter into the database?
Sí,
Okay. Well, the problem I have is the whole literature review that you did was in economics. You have to show me, tiene que mostrar que esa pregunta se cabe en la disciplina de negocio internacional. And it's not proved there because all those are economic journals. So that's what I need you to do to improve your literature review. I don't know if you want to do it for this one or you want to do it for the next one, but I need to see international business journals, at least 80%.
lo puedo vincular al impacto de la inversión extranjera, cómo estas variables pueden impactar en la inversión extranjera.
My issue is the literature review. The literature review should be this paper needs to fall into international business. So that's, I don't know if you understand what I mean. Trade between two countries. Okay, so the literature review, ¿me entiende? Okay, you have to show me that this topic is covered in international business journals. ¿Me entiende? You have this one.
Sí,
So this is my problem with your, but I see how you're spinning it, and that's pretty good. But okay, so I will write you because time is over, the class is over. I'll write you an email, or we can meet Victor, okay, to discuss it.
ok, vale.
Okay. Okay, so you guys saw each other's topics. I will be in touch by email. I'm going to put up, anyway, I'll inform you when I've put things up. I'm going to extend the deadline for this one and for the number 3. So you guys can work on that longer. All right, so we'll be in touch. You guys have a good week. We'll be in touch about all these details. Okay, so look out for your emails. Bye.
Bye, gracias.
Thank
Nos
you.
vemos. Que estén
All the
bien.
topics are very interesting. Bye.
Yes.